Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is scheduled for one fall. Introducing your hosts, Kids at Hart.
Full disclosure, halfway through the intro, I was like, we need to be on the screen, and I put us on there.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? My name is Chris Almighty Lopez, and that right there is my boy, NXT Moving, and we
XT?
are
I don't know.
Nick XT. I like Nick XT.
That's what it was supposed to be.
I like Nixt. I like Nixt too, like Nixt, or like
Nixt.
Next. Like
Next.
Either way, we are the kids at heart. We are here for another Wrestle Real ski. This is 20.
It is 20. Also, I should probably throw our little label ski thing up there.
A little overlay
that shows who we are. Yes.
Bang!
Hi everybody. Yeah, Chris can actually see that right now because he's filming on a new computer.
Yes, I am. I got a whole new set of digs. Slowly but surely, I'll get a new mic, new camera, maybe.
You sound beautiful.
Thank you for the first time in 20 weeks. So this is this has been one hell of a week because this might be my first show. No, my second show because I did Spin from the Reel on Monday. So it's my second show with this new setup, and I am over the moon.
Good.
I feel happy. I think everything's more clear since my screen's in HD.
There you go.
The camera exposes more of my blank room. Like I'm really out here with the white walls, the white T-shirt. I don't know what I'm on today.
Your glasses match your shirt, though.
Right. I mean, thank you for noticing the glasses that were every week on this show. But Nick, man, 20 weeks into Wrestle Real, 20
whole weeks, man. It's
on
crazy.
top of all the little fun things we get to do, like Wrestle Real talks. Those don't count towards the number.
That is true. I always forget that. Like you look at that playlist, and it's not at 20, but it has more videos in it than it should. But
no, but those Wrestle Real talks and like I know we talked about WrestleMania possibly being our next one.
Absolutely.
So, but that's a conversation we have to have for a different day.
Okay, we do our show meetings on this show. Remember that. Right.
But that's a conversation for a different day, unless all the folks want to hear what our potential WrestleMania plans are going to be. Psych! No, because we'll announce those when the time comes. But Nick, like every show, I have to ask: have you watched any wrestling this week?
Full disclosure. Well, I did watch what we'll get into in our first segment of the show. Mm-hmm. Admittedly, there is something that Chris and I are working on behind the scenes that was supposed to be the third spot of this episode.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what it is.
No.
Because it's gonna happen. It's just it has yet.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris, we should watch Capital Punishment sometime. Anyways,
yes.
Have I watched any wrestling this week? You know what I did watch? A man who is killing it right now, and I'll get into him in our next segment as well. Leo Rush has been doing amazing things on the indie scene. So I did watch a few of his matches. I did find this beautiful photo of our girl saying she thinks that Dexter Lumis is hot, which is the high spot of this week. Just kidding. But no,
we're backing her point.
He is. But no, man, I've watched as much wrestling as I possibly could this week. I'll just leave it at that.
The one thing I will say in regards to wrestling, because I didn't get to watch any matches proper.
Apparently, I was saying that entire first statement into my Apple Watch, into my Siri. Sorry.
Did it respond?
It registered every single word that I said. So that
wow, for the first time in forever, Siri actually registers every word.
The watch is good for that, by the way.
Is it? I don't have an Apple Watch.
It's nice, but apparently if I nudge it like this and like it, Chris, did you watch any wrestling this week?
Not a big watch guy, but I'll keep that in mind going forward. I didn't watch any matches proper this week, besides the things we're going to talk about in a little bit. But the one thing I do want to spotlight for a second is someone who's been getting a lot of love recently. And although I don't think it came out during Black History Month. Big E got a WWE 24.
Yes.
And yes. I didn't get to watch all of it, but I watched the beginning of it. And Big E is such a layered human being.
Love him.
And I love all the love he's been getting on social media lately, and especially in regards to like the IC title run that he's currently on, and the things that he's gotten to do post New Day while still being a part of the New Day in a way. Because I thought they were gonna, like, when they split tag teams or factions, it's never usually good.
No.
So when they split Big E from the New Day, I thought to myself, "Oh man, like here we go. Like this is not gonna end. It's not gonna end well at all." But then they gave him a new intro. They let him still wear the same New Day ring attire.
Yeah.
And they gave him the IC belt. And I was over the moon. I still am over the moon. I love what Big E's doing on SmackDown. And this WWE 24 just added more to the apparently incredible person that Big E is.
He's such a good guy.
I plan on watching the rest of it when I can. I'll probably do it tonight. But another thing I do want to talk about for a second, not really talk about, I just want to mention before we start the show. So those Stone Cold Broken Skull sessions, right, are probably some of the best things on the network. Soon to be Peacock, but some of the best things on the network. And Randy Orton's going to be on one.
Yeah, I saw that
later this month, and I think that's going to be must-watch television or must-watch Peacock at that point. Like I think like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Randy Orton, I don't think they've gotten too many similarities in their respective, or looking back at their careers. Like they're definitely, like, if Cena's The Rock, then Orton's definitely Stone Cold by default. At least I'm not saying in regards to like star power or pop culture relevance, although Randy Orton's definitely a recognizable name. I think Randy Orton's a household name in regards to pro wrestling. Like people know who that is.
Yes.
But like that was like, those were the top two guys, Orton and Cena, for a very long time. And Rock and Austin were like that too. And their paths, when they crossed, it was a big deal. So Orton and Stone Cold on the same show talking about Orton's career, like with the kayfabe just like absolutely being broken down. Like I really dig that. Like I cannot wait to see this thing, because that Sasha Banks one was good. The Bayley one was really good.
Oh yeah.
So, and obviously the Undertaker ones are fantastic, and all of them are really good. Like Stone Cold's just a great interviewer, but damn, that Orton one, that's gonna be must-watch television or must-watch Peacock before the end of the month. But we'll get to
Peacock.
Must watch Peacock. And in a couple weeks, dude, that's so crazy.
Crazy.
We're gonna talk about the breaking down of kayfabe again a little bit later on the program. But first things first, we gotta talk about some history-making stuff that happened on Raw this past week that Nick and I may or may not have some controversial thoughts on. Let's talk about it. Bobby, Mother Truckin' Lashley. Look at that man. Look at that picture.
It's a beautiful photo.
Look at that picture. Oh my God. So Bobby Lashley won the WWE Championship on Raw this past Monday. Shocker, right? Raw absolutely shocked over here. But I think the surrounding stories in this case are the talking points of this. And one thing I will mention off the bat, because I feel like I have to, is, oh my God, it's another black WWE champion. And that was my thought. When I saw the picture, I thought to myself, oh my God, it's another black world champion. And we've talked about it on this show before. There aren't too many of those. There are not too many of those. You can count them on one hand. Maybe now with that, you can get another one. It's like Ron Simmons, Booker T, Dwayne Johnson, Kofi Kingston, and Bobby Lashley. At least off the top of my brain.
That's it.
But oh my God. Like, and it happened on Raw in front of no fans. But the general perception was, finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
This was a long time coming for Bobby Lashley, I'll tell you.
That's why he came back. That's why WWE wanted him back. Because, I mean, obviously he had World Championship potential over a decade ago.
Yes.
But now is the perfect time to put a belt on him. And when he came back, they put him in that god-awful Sami Zayn feud. Then they put him in that god-awful Cuck storyline. And I'm like, what is going on? and like Lana's off TV. They take Lana away from him. Rusev goes elsewhere. They put Bobby Lashley with MVP, who is the real MVP of all of this.
Yes, for sure.
And now here he is, WWE champion. So just to put that out there now, he's the second Black World Champ over the last few years, and I still can't believe those words came out of my mouth. Especially after the cycle of like white guy, Samoan, white guy. So it's history making stuff, and I can't believe it happened still.
Mm. And I think that this is going to be a long segment because I think there's a lot to break down with this. Now, obviously, we're not breaking down the match, but let's start off with the MVP part of this. Yes. I mean, MVP, I think that we all knew that Bobby Lashley was eventually going to be WWE champion. I couldn't live in a world where that wasn't a thing, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But MVP, I mean, the name says it all. The guy, if there's a guy who I want to be on a Broken Skulls podcast right now, it's MVP.
Oh my, yeah.
He has been doing the best damn work of his career. And you know what? I will even say that MVP was one of the best people on TV back in the day. Like, just because he could cut a mad promo. Even when he was doing that losing streak, he was still must watch. Because I love Bobby Lashley. I love Montel Vontavious Porter. Mm-hmm. And he creates the Hurt Business, and he's elevating all these guys to the higher ups of the card. I mean, hats off to MVP. And there are plenty of other wrestlers who could benefit from this. I mean, I would say that when Keith Lee comes back, he should face against Matt Riddle at WrestleMania, win, and join the Hurt Business. So eventually, when he turns on the Hurt Business, guess who's next in line for the WWE Championship? It's Keith Lee. But I also think that Keith Lee needs an MVP type right now. Because, like I said, the guy, when he came up to the main roster, his career hasn't been what we thought it should be.
Right.
So, here's the thing. We say the MVP effect. Chris, I pose this question for you. Sure. Who do you think needs the MVP effect right now on the main roster? They could be anybody.
Okay, so just so we can spotlight those who have been positively affected by MVP.
Yes.
Bobby Lashley being the most recent, winning the World Championship. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin having the Raw tag belts and defending them on occasion and having good matches as well. Mm-hmm. Like, that's awesome. Like, I love that tandem in the Hurt Business.
I'll even say Shelton Benjamin made holding the 24/7 championship not look like a joke.
As brief as it was, right?
Yes. I mean, like,
it felt legit.
Yeah.
So those three guys have benefited greatly from having someone like MVP. And it's not even just that it was MVP, not even just like it's an MVP type or like a managerial type or a mouthpiece. It's someone that's like MVP, seasoned in the business, a vet who can work the mic like a mofo, and who can work. This man could still wrestle if he wanted to. He doesn't need to.
No.
Because look, that photo that you pulled up, Nick, that is Exhibit A. Like, why would you need to wrestle when you're doing that? Like, just that with the smile on his face, the smirk. You have Cedric Alexander, who it was long overdue him winning some type of gold. Shelton Benjamin, who was floating around in the mid-card for God knows how long, doing nothing until MVP showed up. And then Bobby Lashley winning the World Championship as a black man in WWE in the year of our Lord, 2021. And, like, that photo, that's a photo of the present, the past, and the future of Raw at the moment. That being said, to answer your question, who deserves and who needs the MVP effect? You already said the first one, Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Someone who's been struggling in the mid-card. I don't know how the hell you mess up Keith Lee, but you did. And now he's hurt, and when he comes back, I love exactly what you said, Nick. Send him to WrestleMania, have him beat Riddle for the United States belt, and then turn the next night, or if it's on Saturday, 2 nights later, on Raw, and join the Hurt Business. That's what I want to see. Just like 5 strong, more than capable black men leading the charge at WWE, or on Raw to be exact. Another dude, the guy that's going to lose that United States belt, Riddle. I think Matt, like, not saying MVP exactly, but as I mentioned, someone who's seasoned, can cut a great promo, like a Heyman.
Mhm.
Like Heyman now can elevate anybody. He's currently elevating stars on Talking Smack every single Friday.
Yes.
Like he knows what the wrestler's trying to convey, and once he lets them do that,
Yeah.
and he'll take the brunt of it. Whether it's Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, guys that don't necessarily need it right now, but folks who can cut a great promo, like what Talking Smack used to be.
Yeah.
Like Heyman is trying to bring that back slowly but surely, and I think he's doing a great job of it. But Matt Riddle, I cannot stand his promos.
They're terrible.
He's obviously a great wrestler. He's a great like brawler. He obviously has that MMA background, so he can do some incredible stuff on the mat.
Mm-hmm.
But pun intended. But besides that, I don't like his promos. He has swagger, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But he needs a mouthpiece. And if they can find somebody like MVP, then great. Then by all means do so. I think Riddle's another great guy. Someone who can benefit from MVP directly. Ricochet. They teased it forever ago. They didn't follow through with it, and I thought that was a mistake. And I know they had him wrestle Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander a ton, but that didn't do shit except elevate Cedric. Mm-hmm. Now let's bring up Ricochet. Ricochet, another guy who can cut a promo, but it ain't like MVP. MVP would eat this man alive. And I think Ricochet, if it ain't Keith Lee joining the Hurt Business, should be Ricochet.
Yeah.
And give Ricochet that 24/7 belt and have him defend it like a real championship. If it ain't the US belt. Either way, sorry, Riddle. Either you're succumbing to MVP or you need an MVP in my eyes. So, or both in a perfect world. But those three guys come to mind.
Yeah. I mean, I can see like an Angel Garza needing it pretty badly.
Oh my god. Oh my god, yes. That's what Carlito's there for.
Yeah.
If you want to bring Carlito back.
Is Jason Jordan ever coming back? Because if Jason Jordan came back and he was in the Hurt Business, holy crap.
I would say no, but look at Edge and Daniel Bryan.
Right. Okay, so I have to... I don't want it to seem like I'm on... What about Titus? Does Titus need it? Can Titus do anything at this point?
You would have... I mean, if you need to build him up...
I want to be proven wrong with Titus O'Neil. Because right now, all I know about Titus O'Neil is that he fell over at the Greatest Royal Rumble. He's a great dad and a great human being. He should have been pushed at some point or another because the guy's got everything.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do with him? Because he has not been on TV in months.
Right.
I'd love to see Titus do something.
Titus, he's a great ambassador for WWE, and I bet it's a lot of what he does.
Right.
Jason Jordan, I do love that name. It depends on if he can and will come back.
Yeah.
Because I know he's producing a lot of stuff nowadays. GD. Just stick with American Alpha. Chad Gable would be cool. But I love what you said about Angel Garza. How about this? Let me throw this at you. Do the Hurt Business, but with a bunch of Latinos. Do Angel Garza, do Andrade and Humberto Carrillo, and you do something like that. Like that I can rock with. Bring Carlito as the mouthpiece.
Carlito, though?
It could be anybody.
I'm just trying to figure out who would be the mouthpiece in that situation.
I'm just using Carlito as a hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have Carlito at the helm, you have that ruthless aggression guy come back and do the MVP role, and he's surrounded by Andrade, Angel Garza, and Humberto Carrillo. I think that would be killer. And let's be frank, like if they were to do a 4-on-4, holy shit,
dude! And you say that, and I'm thinking in my head right now is if Alberto Del Rio wasn't a piece of garbage, he would be the perfect person for that spot.
if Alberto El Patron wasn't the worst, then yeah. Like if it was Alberto from like 2011 before we knew anything about his personal life, it'd be like, yeah, that would rock. It makes sense, especially with the history that comes with Alberto El Patron / Del Rio before he went to WWE. Like he carried a lot with him. He was a name in Mexican wrestling, and then he's a piece of garbage. Which once you're a piece of garbage, you're always a piece of garbage, especially in wrestling. And we saw that.
Cut a promo.
Maybe, but like I'll say, I just use Carlito as an example.
Yeah.
And I like Andrade because Lord knows my man needs something to do. Same thing with Angel Garza. Same thing with Humberto Carrillo. What are they doing? Put the Latinos in a stable. Like you had them fighting each other, and they were briefly together with Zelina Vega, but she ain't there anymore.
Right.
Because she's like, I want to do Twitch, and she's like, and they were like, yeah, no, never mind. Like you're good then, and they let her go. Speaking of Zelina Vega, Aleister Black, Aleister Black should he is a great promo. I'm not even gonna front, but he's a guy where he shouldn't even have to talk. He'll back it up in the ring, and he's had great matches, and he ain't doing anything. But like, look what Bobby Lashley was doing before the Hart business. Like, just look at what his run was. He was relegated to that Lana storyline, the Sami Zayn storyline, the thing where he was teaming up with McIntyre and Corbin, like all them years ago. Like, stop it. He was squandering in the mid card. The mid card. Bobby freaking Lashley. Look at the man. He's jacked. He's huge, and he can wrestle. And he was in the mid card doing jack. Like
that's all Vince wants is jacked, huge, and can wrestle.
But it took him forever to get to the main event.
I know.
And little did we know it'd be when there would be no fans. Like there's no fans there still. There probably won't be till the end of the year. So, like Bobby Lashley right now, I think they better do right by. Like can't mess this up. They messed the Kofi one up, and I will never forgive them for it. Like I know my man had a great 6 months, and then Brock happened, and I will never forgive them for it. But Bobby Lashley, they can redeem that. They can redeem Kofi in the process. Have Brock lose to Bobby Lashley when he inevitably comes back, because Lashley should have that belt for a freaking while. We should have a 2-man power trip, like how we thought with McIntyre and Roman. How they're making it seem like it's going to be Lashley and Roman going forward on the respective shows. But there are so many, like, and just to spotlight again, because you've talked about it on the show multiple times, and I cannot agree with you more. MVP is the MVP. Like puns aside, last year in 2020, when wrestling in the pandemic, you mean that traveling circus is going to stay at the Performance Center with no fans, and they're going to pipe in crowd noise? Oh man, this sounds like a train wreck. And there were a few names that we've talked about on this program that they were the highlights, like Asuka, Bayley, Sasha, Edge, Orton, Wyatt, or The Fiend, I should say, Alexa Bliss, right? There are a few names that they were always pumping out good stuff, at least until recently with Alexa Bliss. But everything else and everybody else is doing great. And they still are doing great to an extent. Sorry, Asuka. But MVP was a part of that list.
Right.
He was doing some great stuff. And once the Hurt Business came together, we all knew they were destined for greatness. It's that, does Vince think that like that? And obviously he does.
Yeah.
So the future of the Hurt Business, holy shit, we don't know.
Sky's the limit, man. So who do you think? So Fastlane, I wonder what the WWE Championship is. It going to be a rematch of Miz versus Lashley? Or is it Lashley versus Drew?
I know.
Who faces against Lashley at WrestleMania?
I think they might save McIntyre and Drew until, or not McIntyre, Drew, McIntyre and Lashley until WrestleMania, and they might throw Lesnar into the mix.
Yeah, I was gonna play that and say that's who I think he should face against.
That was hard.
Jesus Christ! It did not work like that.
That was a good troll. You got me. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, I love the beginning of Brock Lesnar's entrance. By the way,
it's hard, dude. It's
so
hard.
Cool. It's so cool.
Brock
And
Lesnar's
seeing it
intro
live
music is awesome.
But I think I honestly think that it's going to be Brock Lashley because I think that at Fastlane, I think it's going to be Drew and Bobby. Well, I guess when is Fastlane? Is it like
Fastlane's in a couple weeks? I think they could do Miz one more time. It will be a squash, but they can do Miz one more time, and then that's so you can set Miz onto the course with Priest and Bad Bunny. Estoy en mi peak. That's like you can. you could do that at WrestleMania, which is apparently what's going to happen. So do that one more time at Fastlane. As dumb as it might sound, and I might sound contradictory or in this, yeah, but do the squash match again. Have it kill time until you do that potential triple threat. I want to save McIntyre Lashley for fans, and if they let fans in at James Raymond, then okay.
Well, see, this situation reminds me of SummerSlam a bit, though.
How so?
Where it's Lashley versus McIntyre, and then he comes out and wrecks shop, and then that leads to your WrestleMania match. I wonder if they're going to do Sheamus and McIntyre again at Fastlane, because if they're going to do that, then yeah. But I feel as though Drew needs to come out on Monday night and go, hey, Bobby, you costed me this title.
Right.
That should be your momentum leading into Fastlane, and then leading into WrestleMania. Did we get copyright striked? I don't know.
We're gonna find out.
and that leads into WrestleMania for this big match between three behemoths. And to be honest with you, you know, we always joke about the Royal Rumble winner never main events. I have a feeling that Edge Roman is going to. I mean, tonight we're going to probably get the beginning of that feud, obviously, other than what transpired at last pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber. So thank you. So like I have a feeling we're going to get, you know, the payoff for that.
Right.
But I wonder, man. I mean, if they go with the proposed triple threat, which originally was supposed to be Keith Lee, Brock Lesnar, and McIntyre, and now would be Bobby Lashley, McIntyre, and not to steal Chris Anthony Lopez's line. That is one hell of a match right there.
Damn right.
Like, what main events? What do you think main events, Chris?
So, and I keep forgetting this. WrestleMania is 2 nights.
Yes.
True. I stay forgetting that WrestleMania is 2 nights. So, I don't want to get too far ahead because I know I've mentioned on the show before that I believe, I still stand by it, that Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair should main event at least one of those nights. And I think they'll main event night 1. They're starting off. They had Bianca announce that she's facing Sasha earlier than expected.
Finally, though. Yeah, right? At the same time, I felt like it should have happened already.
Yeah, it's because it just felt weird with the Rumble winner not saying who they're going to pick. But I thought they'd do it after Fastlane, and I'm waiting for one of them to turn heel, preferably Sasha. So inevitably,
any sense for Bianca to ever turn heel?
It makes zero sense to turn Bianca heel. I don't think they'll do it. But I think that'll be technically the first. I don't know if 2 black wrestlers had main evented a WrestleMania pay-per-view. I don't think so. At least in singles. And if this happens, they should main event.
Yes.
Like, not only for history's sake, but just because it's going to be a great match. That's going to have some excellent build with 2 incredible characters on SmackDown right now that are killing it.
Yes.
Night 2, on the other hand, to answer your question, what main events? If you're going to have 3 men made of meat beat the hell out of each other, and plus, like, Brock's Vince's guy, Lashley's Vince's guy, McIntyre's been Vince's guy. I mean, it makes sense I don't want to rob Roman and Edge. That though, that could potentially open up the whole weekend. If in this match that might be hyperbolic, that might be controversial. I know Roman's been the shit right now, and he still is. And I know Edge is so beloved, but I feel like again I'm in the minority when it comes to Edge. I love Edge. Edge is a legend, obviously WWE Hall of Famer, but he's not gonna win.
Right.
At least I don't think so. It'd be a mistake for Edge to win.
Yeah, I don't.
Have them open the weekend. Have them start the show. And it's probably going to be spun like the tribal chief decides when he gets this. Like, shut the hell up. Like, just have them go first. Like, just have them start the weekend. I think that'd be one hell of a way to start WrestleMania.
Hell of a way to start WrestleMania. But hey, we're gonna be talking WrestleMania very soon.
A lot,
obviously, on this channel.
Lots of Mania.
But listen, NXT is apparently moving its day already. Sorry.
Unexpected Lesnar. I love that.
Yeah. So Lesnar drops will be a thing now on this channel. Just kidding. it's gonna become the new. So NXT allegedly, and this is all rumor, might be moving to Tuesday nights. Does that mean AEW won the war? Chris Anthony Lopez, go.
Now let's be honest. AEW won this the first week this happened. Like I'm not even trying to be frank. And I'll also be honest. I've watched more NXT than I have AEW. I love AEW. I love NXT. But NXT's won what? Twice? Three times in the ratings war over the last 2 years? Right. What kind of war if it's extremely one-sided? Like I don't think this was a war from the jump. It's reminiscent of it's not to the extent of WCW, Nitro and Raw.
No, because it was a big deal when Nitro beat Raw.
Right. And we all expected AEW to pull numbers. Like it wasn't like a shock. Maybe the surprise is that they kept it on for so long.
Right.
Or the surprise is that NXT beat them at least twice. But this was a matter of time, in my opinion. And honestly, it's better for both shows. I don't want this to turn into a discourse of NXT are submitting to AEW. AEW is a superior show. I don't want this to turn into that discourse. And it will, and I'm going to hate it.
Yes.
Every second of it. NXT Moving Days is better for both shows. And I want to say that both sides, like, I shouldn't say NXT, but AEW, like, yo, like, they put their show on Wednesdays, like, like it's healthy. Like there's no beef between the two shows. It's a fan-made beef.
Yes.
But let's be frank, WWE pulled their the bikini parts out and they're like, yo, we're gonna put NXT on USA on Wednesdays and we're gonna beat AEW. And then it didn't happen.
No.
And moving to Tuesdays would be better for the show, be better for wrestling fans, so we're not consuming two shows in one night. Like it's not the Monday Night Wars. This never was, and never was going to be, because like you said, Nick, Nitro and Raw were bigger shows. Wrestling was bigger at the time, at least on television. I will argue that wrestling's the biggest it's ever been now. But NXT moving to Tuesdays supposedly sounds great on paper.
Well, here's the big deal about that, though, dude. If AEW beats Raw, then that's a big deal. But
yes.
AEW is not pulling in 4 times the numbers. You know what I mean? Like it's not there yet. Now
they've cracked 1 million like twice.
Yeah. Does this open the door for expansion and growth? Maybe, but. The thing about AEW is that they are for the niche fans, and they hope that they're eventually going to grow into something bigger than what they are. But at the time, it's like they're not I don't think that they ever really saw NXT as a threat necessarily. I think they were like, hey, here's some friendly competition for the WWE. Let's do this. This is our night. We're going to make it our night. And now Wednesday nights is AEW, but that doesn't mean that AEW won the war necessarily. I mean, Super Tuesday was pulling in a ton of views for WWE. That's probably why they were like, hey, let's just pull the plug and switch now, because when they were doing those NXT Super Tuesday shows, they were doing really well. And like
they weren't the same night as Dynamite.
Right. And I think that, I think inevitably after this is done, NXT is going to beat them every week.
Ooh.
I think so, because it's just like AEW is still for the hardcore fans. NXT is for the hardcore fans of the WWE. So, whoops, sorry about that. Just kidding. Yeah, it's just like, I mean, that's just my opinion on it. I think that NXT is a WWE brand, but the thing about it that you have to realize is NXT is on TV for the time being. For all we know, this switch to Tuesday nights could be a switch to Peacock. And if that's the case, then I'm not necessarily happy about it, because I think NXT does really well on TV. I think it works for TV because it's not 3 hours of wrestling.
Right.
And because it's 2 hours, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so is AEW. I just think, this is, I love how we were like, this last segment's going to be the longest one. And then this one's going to be like, 5 minutes. NXT and AEW, from the beginning, AEW was always going to pull in more viewers. But that said, I just have a feeling that, and AEW proved me wrong and continue to grow and continue to sign Paul White and continue to do all the big things that you're doing. And because Paul White, hey, we're recording this on a Wednesday, full disclosure. Paul White's supposed to be there tonight. Right. They're gonna beat NXT just by that. Just by the big show appearing on AEW, they're going to beat NXT. But here's the thing. Here's why this move sucks for wrestling in general. And I don't think it was deliberate on WWE's end, but at the same time, I don't think that I don't think that Vince McMahon wants more than AEW to be doing well. And Impact is on Tuesday nights.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's on a streaming platform or something like that. I still, for the love of God, can't figure out where to watch Impact. But and I'm not going out of my way to watch it, but shows what kind of fan I am, I guess. But it's just like, that's going to be drawing viewers away from Impact for sure. And Impact was helped by AEW being on Wednesday nights and people going to Impact from AEW. But if they're all going to be watching NXT, it's not going to help Impact. And we all kind of were like, I know you and I were happy that Impact was doing well.
Yes.
And I don't worry that NXT moving to Tuesdays is going to ruin Impact, but at the same time, it's just kind of shitty. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I was standing Impact for a little bit, and I don't want the momentum that they've gained from this partnership with AEW to be ruined by NXT moving to Tuesdays, because I think that that's going to take the limited viewership that they definitely have, unfortunately, even though they're doing great. And WWE's very good at scooping up that Impact talent. They're not good at scooping up AEW or Ring of Honor necessarily, but they're good at taking the really good Impact people, like MSK, like Taya Valkyrie, who I think is going to be making her debut tonight. She posted something about NXT. So, It was just a hashtag NXT.
We'll see.
Which is good because NXT means maybe they kept your name.
NXT.
But
Hopefully.
I will confirm that right now that was the hashtag. But all in all I will say is I don't want this to ruin the momentum that Impact has built, because like I said, WWE is already starting to take Impact wrestlers and put them in high spots on their TV.
Now, to preface this is just a rumor. Nothing's been confirmed yet. I know there's a date involved. I want to say it was like April 18th or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the day, which is after WrestleMania, which would be the perfect time to do it if you're gonna do it. It would be April 13th or 20th. Those are Tuesdays. So April, a date to move NXT. Okay. I honestly think if you're watching Impact now, you're not going to stop watching Impact just because NXT is there.
Right.
I think Impact is, talk about niche, and Impact Wrestling is niche.
Yes.
Like that's nicher than AEW is. And AEW's almost drowned 1 million people every week. So I like to think that this is a healthy move for all parties involved, but I cannot help but also think about what you said. Excuse me, what you said in regards to, like, I firmly believe NXT was taken off the network and onto USA because of AEW. I firmly believe that, and they immediately realized what their problem was and that there was a mistake after a month.
Yeah,
like because they brought back old pay-per-views and put them on Wednesdays. It's like that doesn't happen. Like that doesn't happen. And AEW was doing so good, and they are still doing really, really well in the ratings, and their shows are good. So, like, you can't compete with AEW because AEW is for the mercs. It's for us. Sting is wrestling at Revolution.
Yes.
Like it's for the mercs. All the smarks like us who read the dirt sheets, who want to see Darby Allin and Sting team up. Darby Allin and Sting,
freaking Darby
on
Allin.
the same team. Like, look, that's for us, right? And the people that watch AEW, either they are the wrestling fans who've been watching for years upon years upon years, or they're new and realizing how cool wrestling can be. They have a dinosaur wrestling on TV tonight, as of this taping, as of our taping of Wrestle Real. So, that's the thing I'm talking about. AEW just appeals to a broader audience. NXT, on the other hand, they don't have a dinosaur. They don't rely on, or I shouldn't say they rely. They don't have those wrestling legends that people used to watch on Nitro 20 years ago. That's not what the case is anymore. But NXT is its own niche WWE offshoot that is really, really well done.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really good. But moving to Tuesdays, I think won't really impact that much. But sorry, that was unintentional too. But I don't think it will hurt them, because if you watch Impact, you will continue to watch Impact.
Right. Yeah.
So at least I think generally they might get a hit, but it won't be anything that will cancel the show.
No.
Or cause them to move dates. So this is all just one big rumor. We'll see if WWE announces it properly. Right. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but I think NXT, if I'm looking at this from WWE's perspective, I'm taking NXT off Wednesday nights if it's up to me too. Thursday isn't for wrestling. No one likes wrestling on a Thursday. Tuesday, yeah, or OG or SmackDown at one point.
Yeah,
and that's when SmackDown wasn't good. So
sure,
like Mondays are obviously taken. Fridays are obviously taken. Thursdays aren't good. You're not gonna put wrestling on the weekends. Tuesday and Wednesday are your only options, and Wednesday's beating you every day in the ratings. So you'll beat Impact every week in the ratings.
Right, yeah.
1,000%. And shit, they're both going to gain more viewers because people are going to be able to watch both shows, AEW and NXT.
And it's going to help Impact. It's going to help bolster Impact as well in a way if more people are watching AEW.
Right. So I think that for all parties involved, it'll be okay. This won't be that big of a stir. It won't be as big as NXT can take it off the network and putting on cable. I'll tell you that.
Right.
So I'm not, or on free TV, I should say. So I think all parties involved will be fine. And if anything, we'll see a boost across the board. Impact may suffer a bit, but they're already incredibly niche, but they have their own following.
Right.
So I think they'll be perfectly fine. And AEW may start crossing 1 million every week.
True. Well, Chris, this isn't going to be breaking news to anybody but us because obviously this is pre-recorded on a Wednesday. It is up on a Friday. But we're going to go to Twitter really quickly, and we're going to see this tweet from Taya Valkyrie right here, where they show off all of the things that will be happening on NXT, and she tweets the eyes and the hands.
Wrestlers, the master workers, a little bit of inside scoop on what we do here on Wrestle Real. But it's
Which, by the way, if you saw it already, my new favorite photo of all time while I was doing my research on Taya is this photo of Marco Stunt and Paul White. It's so cute.
Yo, Marco Stunt credits the Big Show for wanting to become a wrestler.
I love that
you heard
photo.
Have you heard Marco Stunt's story about wrestling?
No.
I think I'm paraphrasing, but the first ever match he watched had the Big Show in it.
Oh,
and
really?
It's awfully ironic that the disparity in height between them, because I think that's his favorite wrestler, if I'm not mistaken.
That is beautiful. We love to see that. So that's going to be our new background for the show.
Okay. The Big Show's nipple right here. No, but I'm not going to believe the Ty Valkyrie thing till I see it, because she knows what she's doing. Like, wrestlers are great workers, both in the ring and outside of it. So I won't hold my breath. But if she shows up on NXT tonight, then by all means.
Chris Anthony Lopez will pop.
I will. From a distance.
This is amazing, and I love it. But listen, here's the thing. Here at Wrestle Real, we love wrestling.
We do.
We love wrestling, and we are willing to say that we aren't going to take shit from anybody, including irrelevant rappers from the early 2000s.
Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy, tell him. He said something about how, on Twitter, I should say, about how the rap game faker than WWE. And you can't say that. Soulja Boy, you cannot say that. You know why you can't say that, Soulja Boy? Because wrestlers are on Twitter too.
Are you telling me that this is fake? Sorry.
Right. I'm surprised to still have that picture. But Randy Orton, who I mentioned at the top of the show, he saw this tweet and didn't take too kindly to it.
Nope.
And for the sake of censorship, I will not be repeating those tweets. I cuss enough on this show. Randy Orton was losing his damn mind on Twitter, defending the wrestling business, I should say.
Yes.
Like, berating Soulja Boy, defending the business. And when I saw this, it brought back the conversation of, oh, wrestling's fake anyway. Wrestling's fake. Nick, I don't know if you've spoken of this, rather on the show. If we did, I don't remember, or if we talked about it outside of the show. But just in case I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. I hate. Like, I don't use that word too often, but I hate when people tell me that wrestling's fake.
Yes.
I don't like it, because you think I don't know? You think I don't know this is predetermined? Like, I get it. Like, I get it, right? Like, oh, it's fake fighting. These people are really hurting themselves. It's a sport. It's like acrobatic. Like, let's not act like this. They're like really punching the hell out of each other. Let's not act like we're doing that all the time. Mm-hmm. Ask Randy Orton himself. Brock Lesnar almost like killed him on SummerSlam a couple years ago. So, like, we really need to cool it when it comes to the F word. I don't like hearing the F word in wrestling. Like, it's entertainment. Like, if you're watching this and you're like, wrestling's fake, which I doubt you are, because if you're watching this show, you like wrestling just as much as we do. If you've
made it this far, I really hope that you're like,
right.
Yeah.
But I hate the discourse of it's fake because they know how it's going to end. So is your favorite TV show, your favorite movie. Like, Nick, you made a movie. And if someone's like, Nick, your movie's fake, no shit.
Yeah, it's like
like what?
As much as like you try to ground things in reality, but like, I mean, think about it. WWE had a guy appear at Capital Punishment dressed up like Barack Obama, and they acted like he was Obama.
Right, like that. There is a killer clown on Raw every week. Like let's not act like this is rooted in reality. Of course, the Attitude Era and the OG stuff, like especially like the '80s and like when WWF was on fire and the Ultimate Warrior was around and that was his
goofy.
name.
It was goofy.
It was goofy as hell. Hulk Hogan beat people every week with a leg drop. Like that never happens anymore. There were people. There were the Undertaker was a dead. He was a zombie. Like
Yeah.
like so that we know that wrestling is not this, and maybe it's just a glorified high spot at this point. But I don't like the discourse of wrestling being fake because I will come to the defense of wrestling as a 23-year-old man. I use that word loosely. Man,
you're a man.
Like, thank you. Like, my mom tells me that too, but it's my mom. She has to tell me that. But like, as a 23-year-old man, like, I watch wrestling all the time. Like, wrestling is one of my favorite interests. And oh my god, of course I know the matches are predetermined. Arguably the funniest part of wrestling is seeing how it goes and seeing where it goes.
Right.
Like my favorite TV show. Like The Flash. The Flash just came back. And every episode ends with a damn cliffhanger that doesn't make it like, oh, the Flash isn't real. Are you can tell me Batman's not real now?
Like, wait, hold on. Batman's not real? I'm just kidding.
I don't like the idea of wrestling, and people have been telling me this for my whole life. They still tell me this, but I feel like the discourse isn't. It's not as ruthless as it used to be. Like, there's definitely a time where it's like, "Oh, you like wrestling, you freaking nerd." Right. Although it still is the case to an extent.
Oh, I used to be making fun of in high school for liking men in tights. Like,
I mean, like, and that's unfortunately how it was. And I like to think we're straying away from that, because people are realizing, like, wrestling's cool when it wants to be. And, like, it doesn't have to be, like, not everyone needs to like it. And I totally get it. It's niche as hell. But damn it, why are we still poo-pooing on people's favorite things?
Right.
Don't yuck my yums, bro.
That's my big thing. Well, first of all, I went to Randy Orton's Twitter to see everything, and Jesus. But I will say that we did forget another Black World Champion. Because it came on the anniversary of Mark Henry winning the World Heavyweight Championship.
Thank you.
There you go. You got your sixth.
I got my sixth. I amend what I said earlier. Mark Henry, I'm sorry, he beat Randy Orton for it too. Yeah, I remember
Randy Orton retweeted and everything. So, like, that's just what sparked my mind, and I just made it that far to see that tweet, and I was like, oh, wait, we forgot about Mark Henry. Because I was so freaking excited when Mark Henry won the World Heavyweight.
That was 2011. Yeah, because that was Mark Henry. Like, was that the Hall of Pain run?
Yep. And hey, Mabel fought for. Anyways, so I
shout out to Mark Henry.
I hate when people do this. You know, it's just like it's. You know, this could get into a discussion of just like things that people enjoy in general that people shouldn't be shitting on. Like, I watch Family Guy all the time, and people get on me about watching nothing but Family Guy. But it's like, okay, who cares?
Stop yucking my yum, bro.
Right. So, I don't know. I've always been under the impression of, like, you know, people can take it way too far when it comes to their obsession with wrestling and wrestlers. Take, for example, all the creepy shit that's happening behind the scenes of wrestling right now. But it's just like, we like what we like. Who cares if, like, we know it's fake. You don't have to keep telling me that. I literally smiled while a guy played Obama on Capital Punishment and didn't think twice about it. Didn't think twice about it, man. It's like, you know, it builds these important, incredible characters that we grow to love. I mean, we just spent an entire, like, 20 minutes talking about MVP. and how incredible he is.
One person of hundreds within just that one company.
And it's like, they're not selling out arenas for, wrestling has brought me the most joy that I have ever felt in my entire life. Just look at this. I love that. And if you're going to shit on me for enjoying it because it's not real, then who gives a damn? Because I'm sure that everybody in this goddamn planet has gone through a wrestling phase in their life, and there's two people who go through it. One, who are sitting here right now on this podcast, and two, who realized it's fake and stopped watching it because of that. No. Just shut up. Just shut up. You don't need to berate me for liking men in tights in high school. You don't need to, because I can only imagine that there's some fucking, pardon my French, there's some high schooler out there who is being made fun of for it completely unnecessarily right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so what? I do like men in tights. Leave me alone. But it's just
especially Robin Hood.
Especially Riz Ahmed. We were having a discussion about this before the show, but
Riz Ahmed as Robin Hood would be really cool. Continue.
Hell yeah, brother. Well, Taron Egerton played Robin Hood once, and woo.
Let's not talk about that.
Love my man. But it's just like, don't make fun of us. There's no need for it. Be a star. Okay. Soulja Boy, be a star.
And this all comes from Soulja Boy. And let's be frank, like, he wasn't attacking WWE primarily. It was more so the rap game and how it's faker than WWE, but it brought back that discourse of the F word in wrestling.
Right.
And yes, this ultimately boils down to stop yucking people's yums. If you don't like it, okay, this can apply to anything. Like this, so I like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right.
I love TMNT. I love it.
Power Rangers.
The Power Rangers. But we can be like, you cannot like TMNT or Power Rangers and be perfectly fine. You can say it's bad and that's why you don't watch it. Right. But it's subjective. My God. Subjective. Like, a lot of things are subjective, yo. Although I would be the first person to say, like, yo, TMNT is the shit, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is the best, probably one of the most entertaining TV series I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. And yes, we're talking about the niche things, but it's going to apply to anything. Right. And the F word in wrestling is such a slap across the face to not only the people that watch it and dedicate their lives to it, but the folks who are in it.
Right.
Like, is it a circus? It's a traveling circus. Like, they go from city to city every week, and they perform in front of a camera, in front of a crowd of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And guess the hell what? They draw.
We love it.
And yes, we love it. And they draw thousands and thousands of folks from around the world. When they do shows, and as much as we don't like it, in Saudi Arabia, people go. In Australia, people go. Japan. Like, wrestling is one of the biggest things on the planet right now, and it's all over the place. Whether you watch WWE or not, and people always pick on WWE because it's the big one. But like AEW right now, they have a dinosaur. The guy is saying to everybody that he's been around for billions of years, and he has a PhD. Are you kidding me? And Nick and I were like, we're not the only ones.
We love Luchasaurus.
We love Luchasaurus.
Luchasaurus won the AEW championship
on this show
in our elimination chamber.
Like, so I hate when people yuck on people's yums. Don't get me wrong. We understand it's predetermined, but that's part of the fun. And honestly, that's why we do shows like this, so we can talk about what happened and what we thought was going to happen and why we were wrong and what's going to happen going forward. And if that's this conversation we're going to have every week, then like, if you don't like it, if you don't like that thought process, then why do you watch, I don't know, Game of Thrones? When Game of Thrones is on TV, it's all people did. Like, all your favorite shows, all your favorite movies, the Marvel movies are the same thing. And those are some of the biggest things on the planet right now.
Right.
And that's all fake. Spider-Man's not real. Like, as much as people believe Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark, he's not. He's not. So we have to keep that stuff in mind too. It's entertainment. Stop yucking on people's yums and stop using the F word in wrestling. It's predetermined and fake are two different things. Like, I don't like the F word. I hate when people say wrestling is fake, or like it's dumb. It's ignorant, and you're just trying to get a reaction. Which, guess what? This is the one time I'm going to do this on this show.
That's right.
Because this is just decades of pent up aggression towards that F word in wrestling. Because stop yucking on people's yums. Just stop.
Well, Chris, I would say that this was going to be your moment of rage. Now I don't know what it is, but you have a high spot for us. So we're going to be moving on to the high spot. But first, what we're going to do, everybody, is going to take a deep breath.
Oh, no, I'm going to get mad again.
As Chris Anthony Lopez gets mad.
I'm going to keep this brief because I'm not too knowledgeable of it. It's a real touchy subject, and it's been a hot topic in the wrestling world, at least in the past few years. So the speaking out movement was definitely a big thing in wrestling, and it called out a lot of disgusting and vile folks for the things that they've done. We talk about folks on this show sometimes who may or may not be still within companies that are still going through, or they got the accusations against them were proven to be wrong or whatever. And I'm not here to talk about all those people. Like they're being dealt with accordingly, whether you think so or not. But I saw something yesterday, and I guarantee Nick, you saw it too. There's this wrestling show. I'm not even going to say the name or who was promoting it because it's not worth it. But who was booked on the show were people like Sonny Kiss and Carlito and Brian Cage, and a bunch of other AEW folks. And one person decided to sneak onto the poster. It's Joey Ryan. Again, it's the one time I'll say his name. No. That, talk about a fall from grace. One of the most beloved pro wrestlers in this continent, probably on the face of the earth, was a piece of garbage. Yeah. Did some awful and horrendous things. He thought he can get away with it, have it slide, and then boop, we'll forget about it. No, we don't. If wrestling fans have done anything, they've never forgotten anything. Just because you sneak your way onto a poster for a show that is advertised as to raise money for a women's charity,
right?
Ironic enough.
Don't book Joey guy.
Don't book that son of a bitch. And I know the promotion involved. They've always had ties with that man, and whatever.
Right.
That show's been canceled because of the outrage of what happened. Tony Khan pulled all of his AEW wrestlers because all those folks apparently didn't know that man was going to be booked on the show. And just imagine the chaos.
Oh, it had to be a disaster.
If all them folks popped up, if Sonny Kiss and I forget who else was there from AEW besides Brian Cage, but it was a lot of folks.
Yes, I'm trying to find a full photo of it right now.
It was a decent amount of
lot of people on there. Jesus.
Right. And imagine the chaos that would have ensued if the man in question would have showed up. Because this has been the first instance that we've seen of someone try to come back from this, try to bounce back from the allegations, right? Because even though a lot of these things are proven to be true, what kind of why? Yeah. You can say people change, whatever, but too soon? At the very least, that's what I will say about this. Again, I'm not the most qualified. It just pissed me off so much seeing that yesterday.
Well, you see news coming out of Marty Scurll's been dropped from New Japan, which is fantastic. Then you see that, and it's yin and yang of good news. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Ring of Honor signed Marty Scurll for years and made them one of the heads of creative. And then he did some questionable things and got dropped. And now, what's Marty Scurll doing? Jack shit.
Yeah.
So there are, and I know a lot of these things are being cleared up in court. And it's not my life. Those folks are going to deal with it. Correct. But how fucking dare you try to come back and try to raise money for the very thing that you stood against for so goddamn long? Fuck you, this person in question. Like,
yeah, that's a
son of a
show.
bitch. Like, come on. Like, I don't get it. I don't like it. I apologize for my language. It's just I don't rock with it. And I know other companies are being hypocritical of it. And there are some wrestlers that Nick and I have spoken of on this show who also have had allegations against them that are being dealt with, or maybe not being dealt with because maybe they're still on weekly television, wherever company they're at.
Right.
But as far as we're concerned, it's like, yo, I believed everybody that spoke up.
Yeah,
I did. And like, it was like, oh my God. And how dare you? How the audacity of some people to do some stuff like that. That's where I'll stop. That's where I'll end this. And I've said enough, but I mean, there's a lot of good in wrestling. There's a lot of good in wrestling. A lot of great folks, a lot of great shows, a lot of great matches, a lot of great promotions. Just that 1% of garbage is so loud.
It is.
And tries to just be bigger than it is.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Especially the person in question whose gimmick was sus from the beginning. But we're all like, oh, it's funny. Yeah, it's funny. Like, we all dug it.
Yeah.
And then we saw what this person was doing. So that's my 2 cents on what happened yesterday. Show got canceled. That's great. Tony Khan said he spoke up on it, which is awesome. It's great seeing folks with power in this industry do something about it. So hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nick, but before the show ends, is there anything we missed?
I mean, to your point earlier about like Carlito, we still don't know if he's going to actually be a permanent member of Raw. We hope so. I know that was random, but we were thinking about Carlito during that one segment, and it would be great because I think he still has a lot left in him. But no, be good, people. That's all we ask.
Be good people, like to everybody. Like, damn, don't yuck their yums, and be respectful of one another's privacy and space. Like, oh my God, like that's the. And I know, like Nick and I, like, who are we to tell y'all that? It should be common sense, but just so it just bears repeating. Sometimes people need to be reminded. So be good people, don't yuck people's yums, and respect one another and respect each other. So besides that, follow us on social media down at the bottom.
Social, always there.
All the socials at the top, at the bottom, scrolling. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the videos. Thank you so much for watching Wrestle Reel. That man is Nick XT Molbach, and I, and Chris, the Almighty Lopez, and we are the kids at Hart. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week for more Wrestle Reel, baby.
And that's the bottom line. 'Cause